Hello, everyone, and welcome to another session of Great Shouts, the final session of the year. Got my festive jumper going here. And every 2 weeks we come together and we have a B2B marketing specialist that talks for 50 to 20 minutes on a particular subject. Then we get to ask lots of grilling questions at the end of the session. This fortnight, we've got Fiona. And Fiona's going to talk about everything to do with personal branding and how you can apply that to LinkedIn. So over to you, Fiona, if you want to share your screen.
Yes, sure. Hi, everyone. Sharing my screen. Can you see it now?
Yes? Yeah.
Yes, cool. Might put a slideshow just so we can see it better. Cool. So building your LinkedIn community in 2024. So I guess we are going to cover a few tips here and why we should be doing it as well. So I guess next slide, let me just, here you go. Are you posting on your LinkedIn? If not, why? It'd be great to hear from you guys, obviously in the chats. Obviously I've got a few people from the team here, so but yeah, would love to hear if you do post yourself on LinkedIn. Yes, you do, Ed. Well done. Yes, Trist. Yes, we see some thumbs up. Cool. So everyone's posting. Awesome. Once a week. Excellent. So moving on, I guess, well, some of the blockers sometimes of people not posting on LinkedIn is that they could be afraid to do so. Sometimes they don't know how to do so. And or sometimes they don't have time or think they don't have time to work on their own personal brand, like myself, in fact. So everything I'm going to tell you here, I promise I'm working on my own LinkedIn. But yeah, I did have quite a lot of client work that I almost kind of forgot to work on my own LinkedIn. So please do believe me when I said that I'm now fully on board with posting on my own platform. So yeah, my name is Fiona. So I'm growth strategist and content creator at Growth Division, mainly so freelancing, but working pretty much with Growth Division for 3 years now, and that's kind of all my clients coming from that source. And then Steph, who is also on this call, she's part of the team as well, and she's kind of working in the background in all the content creation we're doing, and also managing some accounts. And what we do is actually helping startup and thought leaders stand out on LinkedIn. So we work with over 30 startups in the last 3 years, run community building for across about 20 startups or more across loads of sectors, such as fintech, SaaS, proptech, health tech, clean tech, F&B, marketing services, and more. And we've developed also around 20 also personal brands for founders, directors, and beyond. Some of the clients we've worked with, but mainly we would like to know why personal branding and why you should post on your LinkedIn. So building your authority is mainly what we're trying to achieve by posting. And so you can attract opportunities, talent, investments, and leads. And so you need to kind of identify actually which one of those you'd like to achieve across the goals of your personal branding. So of course, if you do work on your personal branding, you'll increase the trust and you'll increase the opportunities. Now, something that has been covered in this webinar before is the ABM strategy that we like to also pitch at Growth Division, because it's something that worked really well with in combination with direct outreach. I see Alex Dawson in this call, but essentially is working with cold outreach on LinkedIn. You can do that from a founder or CEO's profile, and then you post, of course, some content on that CEO's profile, and you invite the same followers that you've been connecting with to follow the LinkedIn company page. So there's a nice synergy between an ABM target list, essentially, direct outreach, and then posting directly on a CEO personal profile and a company LinkedIn. I appreciate here, obviously, there's like some marketers as well. So I'm going to try to cover a little bit more like what you would do for yourself as a marketer, but also if you want, or if you work with clients and actually developing their own brands, your clients' brands essentially. So some goals that you can try to achieve with your personal branding. And I wanted to give you some examples. So for instance, if I do post on my LinkedIn, what I want to achieve is increase my credibility as a content creator on LinkedIn, keep learning and increasing my expertise. So by kind of connecting with loads of content creators, I can learn, have some nice kind of connection with them, interact with each other. And also one of our main goals is to convert prospect to clients. So obviously Growth Division do pitch community building as part of what we do. And when potential prospects want to go and check on my profile, at least they see I do post myself and I'm kind of credible in this way. But obviously there's not just that. You can also land some speaking opportunities potentially. You can increase credibility for investors. You can, of course, generate lead or direct ROI. So it all depends on your channel mix as well and what you're trying to achieve for yourself as part of the business you're working at, etc. So I've got actually quite good examples of success stories here. But yeah, we had for one of the clients, we started posting on their page, company page, on the CEO's profile. And soon after, an investor actually got back in touch to say that it seems that they were picking things up, and although it had been quiet for a while, wasn't really responding. He then saw the content and then started to kind of being interested again. With Growth Division, we've got plenty of great stories as well. Some, Tristan is here to say so, but we had some people who Tristan had connected years ago and kind of got back in touch because he saw his content on LinkedIn, and of course some kind of clients as well. Recently, we just secured a client last month actually, and I saw the CMO checked my LinkedIn. So actually, everything that I'm trying to achieve is seems to work since we did land a client. I'm sure obviously not just due to that, but at least we're now working together with this client. So important to define your goals. In terms of OKRs, it's also very crucial to define some specific OKRs. What are the objectives you want to achieve when you're building a personal brand? It could be growing your profile views, impressions, grow your engagement. It's always good to track, of course, how you're trending against those targets that you should set as well. Of course, the target setting takes a bit of experience as well. When you do set your target, it's important to look at benchmark as well. When we do work with clients, I usually take a look at what they've achieved prior to us joining and how many times they used to post, and then see and set some realistic target based on that. Content pillars is also very important when you create your personal brand. So it's important to know what you want to post, but specifically what is going to resonate to your audience. So this is an example of, again, I think it's quite an easy story to explain why I post and for who. So if I identify my ICPs, I would say I have startup founders, from the back of Growth Division, contacts. I have marketers and content creators following me, and working mums because I've recently became a mum. So that's kind of the topic I've identified something, the ICP, sorry, I've identified to be my target audience. The behavior I've wrote here is what is a hypothesis essentially, but I feel potentially the startup founders aren't the one that are going to really engage with my content, whether other marketers and working mums potentially will react to my content a bit more. And the objectives here would be that for my startup founders, it would be to increase my credibility, to acquire new community building clients. Marketers is actually to get some traction. So I want, of course, some startup founders to come to my page and see that I do actually have engagement on my posts, and same for working mums. And then identifying, of course, the pain points of your audience will help you create specific topics and content that resonate with them. At Growth Division, again, we do develop a very kind of big ICP framework, including interest, jobs to be done. But this is kind of a bit of a summary of what I've done for myself. Of course, if you are, a startup founder of a SaaS product and or a scale up, you'd have potentially more audience or other audience as well with specific pain points, etc. So it's important to highlight this. So the content pillars is also something you should define. Here you see the marketing funnel, and this example actually is taken from kind of one of a client, but who is a SaaS founder. And the type of topics and content pillars you could identify would be split between the top funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom funnel. On the left-hand side, you see the goal and objectives. So on the top funnel will be the awareness objective. Your goal will be to grow and educate your audience, to let them know solution exists. Of course, depends what your product is about and what is solved. But sometimes, we work with startups that have product that aren't known and quite innovative, so unknown by the audience. So the content pillars here could be the educational content pillar that have things like report, research paper, any kind of old blogs you're posting on your company page, your third-party articles that you can find some nice resources, some nice stats as well to highlight some thought leadership articles and opinions you want to share. Middle of funnel, things like products. So if you want to talk about your product, what pain points your product solve and what are the features of your product. And that's really to try to get the startups to include you in the list of providers for that specific problem they have. And finally, bottom of funnel would be to talk about your brand and personal. So brand is anything like company updates and news, any testimonials and case study, and any PR pieces you may have, landing opportunities. And that's really to increase trust. Why would it want to work with you guys? And that's helped really show and portray that you are a nice team, that you have a good customer service team, for instance, that you win awards, etc. And of course, because we're talking about a founder here, it's important to also have a few personal elements. So it could be anything like the startup founder, your journey as a startup founder, any failures you want to share, any hobbies that's kind of linked through what you do as well. So it's important to always keep a bit of a personal element here. Here is mine, which are a bit simple. I made it slightly simpler. So my pillars are educational, so anything about content creation, general topic. The services could be things like how to guide, some frameworks. Sometimes you see like lots of carousel explaining tips and tricks really into content creation, personal branding. And then, as mentioned before, anything personal will be any kind of working mom, freelancing, remote working themes, and brand, anything about growth division, company teams, some testimonial we received as well. But engaging with, optimizing your profile is also key in what you should do. So you should always look at your photo to start with, your banner. I think it's always nice to have quite a good, strong tagline on your banner as well. It can sometimes complement as well your headlines. So if you look at my headline here, I put help startup and thought leaders stand out on LinkedIn. Somehow my banner actually repeats it, but you could also look at make it slightly different as well. So it kind of complements each other. You should always also turn your creator mode on. And when you do that, you can select up to 5 topics that will show as talks about working mom, hashtag audience growth, content creation, LinkedIn content, personal branding. Super important to do that because your audience can actually find your post through those and your page through those hashtags. And yeah, your headline should include, of course, your value proposition. So what do you do? Often, to be honest, I always see this not really being optimized. Often people just put the position founder of company, but I think it's really good to use that to actually show what you do and who you're dealing with and why. So of course it needs to be quite short, but I think it's quite good to showcase your value props here. In summary, things that you should try to be doing if you want to grow your personal brand is to define your goals, set up some OKRs, define your ICP, define your content pillars and topics you want to talk about, optimize your profile, set up the tools, and then Tapio is actually a recommendation. I will cover this in a second. And then start with content creation. But I have a but. writing content is unfortunately not enough nowadays, and it's all about engaging with your community as well. So responding to all your comments and proactively engaging with people, and you can make actually a list of people. I'll show you that in Tapio, but engage with people who engage with you, engage with influencers in your niche, and then also potentially create ABM lists if you do also do direct outreach via email. For instance, I commented on a DM on the post yesterday. This morning, I actually received this message from in my inbox. I caught you in the comments about sending the first DM, looking forward to your content. So it actually shows it works to write comments on other people's posts. Glad I came this morning, actually, just before this presentation. So here are some tips as well, general tips. Sorry. Here, you can add your website, so it's visible here in your feed. So here is an example of Tristan, visit my website. If you want to increase engagement rates, you can do so with Carousel. You see here we had 35% so engagement rate. And you can also use portrait format for your carousel because it takes more space in people's feed. So it's quite a nice hack. You can schedule also for later directly in LinkedIn. So in fact, when you need to do polls, in fact, having carousel tag a lot of people and companies, etc., is actually the easiest is to do it directly onto LinkedIn. So you can see a little clock and you click on it, you can schedule different posts. So it's something good to know. You can set Google alerts. That's more in a case of if you write content for other people, but essentially that's how we tend to find loads of awareness topics, is by creating Google alerts on certain keywords. So this helps usually posting and finding good stats and good stories come in the news of industry you may not know. Growing your followers to your company page, you can do that by inviting the 250 credits you have each month. And each time you get someone accept your invite, you will get an extra credit. So doing this early in the month, you should try to maximize all those connections. So this is how we can really exponentially grow the company page. And then creating a LinkedIn newsletter is another little trick you could try to do. Tristan got 599 subscribers as we launched his LinkedIn newsletter in last week, actually, exactly a week ago. So very good one to know. Conscious of time is a bit of a summary of all the tools we're using, but I wanted to go onto the Tapio demo. I don't know, Ed, if I've got a bit of time to do that. Okay.
Definitely, yeah. Give you a cheeky couple of minutes or 5 minutes on that. That'd be great. And then we've got 5 minutes of questions.
Okay, excellent. So I want to show you Tapio. Can you see my screen here? So Tapio is great because you can, first of all, here on the left-hand side, you see I've got access, for instance, to Tom and Tristan, so you can have access to your team. LinkedIn, you can also have your clients in here. We're just about to, to add more of a clients in here, so you can easily go from one to another by just using your same account. So that's pretty good. You can hit the right to post button, copy something here. For today's sake, I'm just going to go into my draft, which I had a post already pre-written. But once you've got your post written here, you can also use the AI tool to improve it. So you can improve post, for instance. So this post is about getting traction by perfecting your hooks. And so I've got a little post here. And actually by putting improve, you get some other suggestions here. As for any general rule using AI tool, you just always, of course, pick and choose what you select and what you keep from the suggested prompt and text here. But it can give you idea to shake it up and to do something else. So for instance, I quite like here at the bottom here, like, comment and share. I think that's quite nice and something different. You can do lots of different actions here. You can make the copy shorter, expand the post, create hooks, do a more casual tone. So that's quite interesting. If you do casual, always says, hey, LinkedIn peeps. Of course, you wouldn't say that. So you kind of, edit it. So you can always copy this, edit it as well, but remove the emoji. But you see what I mean? You can actually really create your post here. Another good bit, you can use all the post generator here as well on the left-hand side, hook generator. So there's a lot you can be doing here. So you can talk about perfecting your hooks and actually just do here, you put your first sentence on what the topic is about, and then suddenly you've got 5 hooks you can choose from. You know, are you tired of your LinkedIn post falling flat? Okay, quite good. So you can then get inspired here and choose which hook you want to choose. And then finally, I want to show you the engage section. So within there, you can create list of people. In here, I've just created the people I like. Tom Dewhurst actually created one with an ABM list. Essentially, when you click on go, you would then end up seeing the last post of the people from your list, and you can start commenting on it using also the AI tool to do so. So really kind of connects it all together. It's really hard to do that manually, as we know, if you were to use your LinkedIn. How do you make lists? How do you do that in a kind of organized way? But if you do so through the tool, you can simply go through here. Obviously, it takes a bit of time to come, but here is someone from my list. She's a content creator. And I can just hit add value, because pretty much each time you see comments on any kind of trending post, to be honest, many people just repeat what the person says in different ways. But you also would tailor this. I couldn't agree more with your posts. I mean, you can simply remove things and actually keep, I've personally experienced how this principle can work wonders on LinkedIn. You can basically choose what you keep. Something are good, some are not as good, and you'll see as the more you use it, the more you'll see the pattern. So I think you need to try to avoid anything about secret sauce, picture this, because it becomes, this key, like these words that you just see coming, and for sure when you work with these tools, which are kind of AI prompted as well. So this is me. Any questions? Sorry, it was quite fast, but tried to cover as much as possible.
No, thanks, Fiona. That's really useful actually to have a presentation with a background to it, and then actually practically how you're using the tool. How much is that tool out of interest? What is a monthly ongoing cost for it?
About £42. Not sure what the currency. £42, I think, a month. If for one profile, as you add more profile, you get 10% discount. So I think it's just works with scales as well. So if you add more people in your team or clients, etc., within your same credit card.
Okay, makes sense. So I think there's a few questions in there. I'll kick off with the first one. I think it's really interesting in just the level of like cadence you should have for frequency of posts, and that's always gets me, right? So I think it's holding yourself accountable to post a number of times a week or a month. But I suppose it depends on the level of where you are in your personal brand and kind of where you're starting off. If you might say it all depends, but do you have a kind of rule for people who are kind of growing their personal brand about kind of frequency?
I mean, obviously, if you've never posted before, probably starting with 3 posts or 4 or 5 posts a week would probably be too much, because then people would wonder like what's going on. And also to get traction, you need to, it's going to be a long-term game at the end. You're not going to get all the traction month one, but by posting on that first month, when I came back from maternity leave, obviously I saw like straight away all the engagement that I never had, since I never posted before. So really kind of shows that how much traction you can gain. But say, a few times a week, you can, start 1 or 2 times. But of course, the more posts you have, the more total impressions you'll get and more views you start getting as well. So I think it's just, question balance also between the time you have to dedicate to your personal brand versus your clients' work. We know often we always guilty to not really work on our own marketing, but yeah.
And do you think like that balance, like you said, that it's not just about posting content, a lot of it's to do with how you engage with other people. Is there a kind of balance to that you think you should have, or you actually maybe when you're starting off, you should spend more time posting on other people's comments or engaging with other people or engaging with other kind of communities on LinkedIn?
Yeah, I think I'd like to say that it probably works in balance, because if you've got an empty feed and then obviously start commenting on people, they go and check your profile and is this nothing to see there? So I wouldn't jump the gun, and I would first work on your profile optimization before you go and do any of it. But then of course you do a bit of posting and then a bit of commenting, and maybe you balance it doing a bit of half. To be honest, I think the commenting bit is something we're really kind of getting hot right now at Growth Division. We know for a while that we should do it, but it was just to find this right tool that allows us to do in a process that can work for us. And of course, you kind of need to go proactively, and say, okay, this week I'm going to spend 30 minutes each day to do this. But if you do for some clients, you also need to kind of evaluate how much time you can dedicate to it based on how much you're paid for.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, the allocation of time is certainly the key there. So Tristan had a few questions. So I think we've gone through like less good quality more often. Certainly so when you're kind of making comparisons from the C-suite or founders, do you think that's kind of within the company, is it always more powerful if it comes from the founder, or is it also kind of support from the C-suite? I've kind of found that as well in kind of working with the clients. I think the founders are often, because it's their passion project, right? It's their baby, they're posting from it. Does it need to come from them, or is it also powerful to have the C-suite, especially kind of maybe at CRO level or kind of head of sales level engaging as well, and they might not necessarily always do that?
Yeah, I think obviously it depends. At Growth Division, we tend to have a bit more startups rather than big scale-ups. So far, we've been mostly working with founders. We have a few head of sales, and to be fair, we've got one scale-up with a head of sale that has quite good engagement on his page. So all depends what kind of networks they've been building before as well. When also start working with a client, you just never know what the audience is going to be like. Is it going to be a hot audience or not? But in what we do, is important to do also those direct cold outreach messaging as well, so it kind of works both together. And we tend to do so from the founders when we can, or for bigger companies, it does happen that it's head of sales. But I guess probably words that are quite commercial, rather than I think you just need to be credible in what you're saying as well. So I think both, but potentially the more senior you are, obviously the more at the end is putting thought leadership posts as well. So you need to be quite senior, or at least have quite a lot of experience or share your passion in creating a product startup as well.
Makes sense. Yeah, makes sense. I suppose the final question to me is that balance between like personal versus professional, right? And I've seen the great photos of you with your, little babby on the Thames there, and it's like, super engaging. Or, and I've posted about, my kids or some things that you can do, and you get loads of impressions, and you get loads of engagement. But is there that balance needs to be found with also adding value? And you're adding value, obviously, for people seeing you in your life, but also in terms of, as you say, thought leadership, where it's useful and valuable for more people to follow you.
Yes. No, for sure. I think, your personal post at the end, that's why we also have your content pillars and your mix. And actually, if you just spend more time, of course, developing educational posts, super value add posts, or like how-to guides and things like that, of course, that's going to be more powerful with, one personal post here and there. I think that's what should be doing. And often you see those personal posts to still add value in terms of a business sense, whether it's like, my failures and all those kind of topics, the biggest mistake I've made, so often those kind of things where a lot of people can relate and try to show them as authentic in the kind of career as well. So yeah, I'd say for sure the balance is be like personal to be a bit less, like maybe, if you do 10 posts, do one personal and the rest on educational thought leadership.
That's the right balance, yeah. I suppose the flip side is that is, in a classic kind of Gary V kind of thought in terms of, jab, 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 right hook, how often you put a very specific sales message out there, right? So when you're producing kind of value-add content, thought leadership, with personal posts as well, when do you say, and we've got this offer? Is it, when you've got a true offer or something, really valuable where it's more of a kind of sales bit, or is it, people just will scroll past that?
Yeah, I mean, actually, we don't really work with many clients that have offers because they're usually, like, as I said, startup in the early stages or something. So usually, and mostly B2B as well. So it's not so many like B2C clients at the moment. But I'd say, like, I think you see a lot of frameworks. It could be your 40%, 40% and actually only 20% on real commercials as well, or like very kind of driving conversions. So I wouldn't, constantly shout out about, big offers, because at the end it's not that authentic. If someone is not interested in your product or is not in their journey to adopt your product, don't know about it, it's gonna just go flat on their feed. So I'd say when it's very good value, adding value essentially is what you want to do for the audience to get something. And actually, I think they do it well now. You can more and more save content for later. I think it's just sometimes hard to navigate with LinkedIn to try to find this saved content as well, to go back to it. So I think, LinkedIn still has some progress to, I think, in my opinion, to do in terms of how it showcases bits, parts of on this platform.
Yeah. I think as a platform, also in terms of more people posting, helping to find the stuff which is most interesting in the niche on the feed, I think is how they're going to grow. Look, we're over time. There's so much fascinating content to discuss on it, but thank you so much, Fiona. Really appreciate it. It's great to have the presentation and the diving into the tool as well. Thanks a lot, everyone, for attending, and I will it's recorded, so I'll post it tomorrow. Thanks a lot, everyone. See you again.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Happy holidays.